Good morning, and welcome to our community meditation. Thank you for joining us as we connect together in consciousness. My name is Judy Poteet, and I am your licensed spiritual practitioner for the day. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones so that we may have an uninterrupted experience together. In fact, I'm silencing mine right now because I had forgotten to. This meditation is a blend of spoken words, silence, and accompanied by some music. It will last approximately 15 minutes. For this meditation, I'm paraphrasing, I guess, you would say, the words of Ernest Holmes from his book, 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wonder. And at the end, I'm restating some of the words of Gabby Bernstein. So right now I invite you to relax, to begin to center yourself as you observe your breath. Align yourself with the One, that one life, that one energy, that one love that is called by many names: Spirit, Universe, God, Allah, and so many, many more. Notice its almighty, dynamic power, the divine creative intelligence, an absolute, unconditional, eternal love that surrounds you, infuses you. Feel the presence of a love so complete that there is nothing else. And as I speak in the first person, accept my words as yours. I am an individualized part of this universal presence and one with this universal power. As I withdraw my thoughts away from the world of form, away from the world of circumstances, I realize that in the one universal mind, which is the mind of God, there is quiet, peace, joy, and order. This is reality. I turn my thoughts to joy, which I know is vibrating through all life, through my own being, in my innermost mind and heart. I reach deep into the infinite being and hear the song of love, of joy, that sings throughout all manifestations of life. My thought sinks deep into the quiet of my innermost self. I am conscious of the perfect peace and love and strength of the one universal being, the one divine mind. It is like a tranquil pool, translucent, calm, and beautiful. As I contemplate it, I am refreshed. I realize that it's all-pervading, in all and through all, ever present, and that it is my true life, my true being. Now I am divinely confident of the unity of life. There is peace, love, joy, power, wisdom, and all that is good. Therefore, I definitely claim love, peace, joy, power, and an abundance of all good in my life, running through me as a silent power of spiritual wisdom, harmoniously directing my thoughts and actions for my highest good. I am grateful. I am surrounded by an atmosphere of love, and I am guided and governed by the impulse of love. This love casts out all fear, for fear cannot abide in the same household with love. I feel my consciousness with a sense of the love of God until my whole being is flooded with it. It blesses me, heals me, guides me, and sustains me. Love and joy are my birthright. The intelligence of love within me is constantly guiding me. Clearly, I see the right thing to do for me and for the world. I know the right thing for me to say in every circumstance. This intelligence within me deals with every situation harmoniously. I find life thrilling, stimulating, and filled with joy. I am grateful. As I feel this presence more and more, I hear the song of joy deep within. Always when I am still, I hear the song of life, the song of love pouring through my consciousness. I have only to listen, for it is always there. With this knowledge, this assurance that this loving presence is always here, closer to me than breathing, nearer than my hands and feet. I have nothing to fear. I feel this loving protection around me, and I know that it is a wall of strength. I know that knowing this, I am the very essence of God, joy wells up within my heart, and life sings through me in radiant ecstasy. To everyone I encounter, I definitely and purposefully radiate love. I enjoy doing the things that come to me to be done. I appreciate the good that has been expressed to me. I am grateful. I know the creative law of good is infinite and has the power to accomplish. I know the whole desire for me is freedom and joy. Therefore, I declare that this freedom and joy are mine today. This freedom and joy spontaneously express in my experience, and there is nothing in me that can hinder this expression. Because this all good is mine, and because it constitutes the only presence there is in the universe, I know freedom and joy cannot be separated from me, but remain in my presence, forever manifesting in my life. Freedom and joy are my birthright. Now and always, I recognize that I live, move, and have my being in God. I am part of universal mind. I am one with universal substance. All the qualities, all the wealth of good and desirable things that exist in the universal mind are mine now. I perceive, I accept, and I experience them. I now lay aside all anxiety, all striving, and I let the law bring my good to me. I open every channel for substance to flow through me and to take form in my experience and touch the lives of those around me. I joyfully anticipate greater abundance, more success, and more joy. Daily I accept more joy, more happiness, more of the good things of life. Consistently, my conviction deepens that the presence pervades my being, freeing me from anxiety, fear, loneliness, and sadness. I turn to Spirit within, knowing that it desires to manifest all good through me. I am grateful. My purpose is to be joyful. My purpose is to evolve in love and live with ease. My purpose is to surrender to the eternal, unconditional love of the universal mind of God. I own my joy so that I can be happier and bring more energy to the world. Namaste. This concludes our meditation service. Thank you for being with us in spiritual practice. Our Sunday celebration will begin in 15 minutes, so feel free to stand up, walk around, say hi to your friends, and then be back here at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our new location here. Isn't this a beautiful center that we found? I want to extend a great thank you to the staff and of Las Vegas Meadows for opening their home to us and allowing us to be here in this space. It was absolutely a divine intervention that caused us to be here. Christy was attending a workshop of one of our practitioners, Kelly Marshall. She said her place was looking for a church, and we were looking for a place to hold our location. So after coming together, we have made it happen. And so we are so grateful to be out of the weather and having comfortable seats and a beautiful place that we can call home until our new center is built. I want to thank each and every one of you that's here with us personally today, and I want to extend a wonderful welcome to everybody who's joining us online. We are continuing to broadcast live stream every Sunday, so even if you can't make it here in person for whatever reason, you're welcome to join us online, and we are so grateful to know that right now we have about a dozen people out there watching us online right now. And so we're going to start off this morning with just a little bit of getting to know each other. We haven't done this in a long time. So if you would, take a moment and stand up and greet your neighbor. If you don't want to be hugged, just cross your arms or just bow or whatever you want. If you don't want to be hugged, we have some people that are still a little leery of that, getting that close to people. But we happen to be a hugging kind of group. So just so you know that. If you want to shake hands, put your hand out. If you don't want to do that, just keep your hands down by your side or cross them in front of you. Anyway, take a moment, get to know the people around you. Let's make our way back to our seats. I know it's so exciting to be with each other and spend some time talking to each other. We haven't done that in so long. Afterwards. All right, wonderful. I got so excited I totally messed up my order of service already, but that's all right. We have we have our music director, Justin Vogel, one of our practitioners here with us today. And our fabulous vocalist of the day, Melissa Allen, and they're going to sing us in with our song of the day. The words are on your handout, your little flyer there. If you'd like to join us, sing along with us, please.
All right, here we go. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. Thank you for this space, Spirit. Thank you for this space. Thank you for this space, Spirit. Thank you for this space. This wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 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 space.
Thank you, Justin, one of our beautiful chants. So we have here what we call at Centers for Spiritual Living practitioners. Other religions may call them lay ministers or deacons or different terms that have been used to describe the same kind of position. These are beautiful individuals who spend 4 years studying our principles, our practices, and really integrating them into their lives, and then offer their services back to our community. And so we have today sitting high watch for us. High watch means that they are sitting in contemplation, holding the consciousness of truth for the entire service that we have together and for each person here. And so I just wanted to take a moment to introduce our practitioners that are in service today. We have over here Clay T. White. Clay T. is the director of the Oral History Research Center at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Has been a resident of Las Vegas for many, many years and has done wonderful things. And you may have seen her. In fact, she told me she spoke at this building in the past. She has done different presentations here. And so we're happy to have Clay T. with us. Over here on this side, we have the former Senator Valerie Weiner, who happens to be the senator for this location here. After 16 years of service to the Clark County and the Las Vegas area, Valerie is now one of our licensed practitioners, and so she is sitting in high watch. After service, they will be available for individual prayer. And so if you would like to have a prayer for yourself, come forward. We'll have the seats up here in the front ready for you. And our practitioner of the day, who gave the meditation this morning, Judy Petit, will be here to help usher you. Judy is a former teacher and counselor with the Clark County School District. I know she spent over 30 years, like me, in the Clark County School District, and is, again, here to offer valuable service. And so if you were here this morning and you heard her meditation, it was a beautiful, beautiful exploration of spirit within ourselves. And so I'm going to invite Judy up here now to do our invocation. And so this is as we enter into our sacred time together.
Welcome. Oh my goodness, what a glorious Sunday morning this is. My name is Judy Poteet, and I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. It is my pleasure to be here with you in person and online as we experience this uplifting celebration service together. Now, if you have any cell phones that haven't been turned off yet, please do so now. I know I had to turn mine off earlier. And let's begin with this week's affirmation. Following you may wish to jot down the affirmation or take the program home with you, or online you may want to take a picture. Oh no, it won't be online. Picture will be. Okay, never mind, don't take a picture of it, it won't be there. You might have to take a note and write it down as a source of inspiration throughout the week. So first I'll read the affirmation. It'll be followed by a few moments of silence. And then after which I will do the invocation. So the affirmation, I'll read it twice. I set my intention to embrace joy every day. I set my intention to embrace joy every day. Now our moments of silence. I know there's only one life, one love, one joy, one divine intelligence, one almighty creative power, one love. That love that's eternal, unconditional, ever-present love. And within that one love, there's joy and peace and wisdom. So I claim that here right now, in the presence at this time. Whether you're here in person or online, know this truth, embody it, embrace it. That we are here to grow, to evolve. And what a beautiful place to do that. This is a time to truly jump for joy, to celebrate, coming together, turning the corner, seeing the bright and glorious light at the end of the tunnel. I know the service is blessed. I know every person that comes into contact with this service in any way is blessed. And I am grateful. So knowing this truth and grounding myself in joy and peace and love, I know that all is well. And so it is.
Good morning, welcome. It's vibrational. Can you feel this joy that we're all together today? So grateful for this space and for this place and for Justin. Go. Welcome to the temple, welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry, you just come on in. Welcome to the presence, welcome to the family. You know you don't have to hesitate. Come on in and sit down. I saw you peeking through the window. I bet you're wondering just what's going on, so quit your sneaking around. This is where you belong. So open up the doors now. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the sanctuary. You don't have to worry. You just come on in. Welcome to the presence. Welcome
you, Melissa. Well, it was funny. She sang that song early in February, and I thought, as she was singing it, I texted Justin. I said, "We have to play this the first Sunday we're in person." And then the text started coming in from everybody around. "You got to play this song. You got to play this song." So it was well designed for this day today, for this service that we're having here today. So we have some people here that may not have ever experienced this before, and so I thought I'd take a moment here and tell you a little bit about who we are. I've already explained to our spiritual practitioners. Our center, our philosophy, is built on a study of ancient wisdom, spiritual practices from all over the world. It is rooted in Judeo-Christian religions, but it embraces the golden threads of truth, as our founder called them, that you can find in all different religious philosophies. We study meditation, which is very much a Buddhist and Hindu tradition. We explore different spiritual practices, as do the Sufis from the Islamic tradition. We embrace all different ideas about how to get a deeper connection with spirit. We are all about developing that conscious union with the God of your understanding, whatever you call it. Some people prefer to have a name like the universe, or some people like Father, Mother, God. Some people like spirit. Some people like the divine. It doesn't matter what you call it. We believe that there's only one power and one presence out there. We have these what we believe statements, and the first one speaks to this so beautifully. It says that we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, that one, indestructible, absolute, self-existent cause. That one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. And the manifest universe is the body of the living Spirit. So what this means basically is that we believe that God is in everything, that the divine shows up uniquely and perfectly through every individual expression of it. But not one individual expression of it encompasses the totality of the divine. It is so much more. We call this, a philosophy is called the panentheism, which is an idea of, as I said, God is in everything, but God is so much more than any one thing. And so that's the basis of our faith here, our tradition that we practice here at Centers for Spiritual Living. We are part of a movement that was founded over 100 years ago by Ernest Holmes in Southern California. He studied all the different spiritual traditions. He started with Ralph Waldo Emerson back when he was a teenager. When he found Emerson, he said it was like water to his thirst, that he was quenched when he read Emerson's work. He studied the work of many of the Hindu scholars and brought in their idea of this oneness of the universe that shows up in so many different ways. You know, in Hinduism, there's 10,000 gods, but it's all just a different incarnation of the one. And so we practice this faith in this tradition here as part of Centers for Spiritual Living, which is an international nonprofit organization that has over 400 affiliated chapters in 38 countries. And so we're all over the globe. We're doing good work in different places in the world. We have centers in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, North America, South America. In fact, South America is our biggest growing place right now. We have tons of new chapters opening up in Peru and Argentina and Brazil right now. And so it's a wonderful movement to be part of. I found this movement about 18 years ago now and totally changed my life. I had really no religious practice at the time, although I grew up in a Protestant faith and Protestant family that practiced the Protestant religion in different forms. And for me, it has been life-changing. It's opened me up. It has made me so much more positive and changed so many different things about my life. And I know it has done the same thing for those of you that have been with us for many years. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of a brief history of who we are. So each year we choose a theme. And so for 2023, we decided that we would do the theme, Building a Community. It seemed to go really well with what we were doing as far as building a new building, which is what we're doing on East Russell Road, our new center that's under construction right now. So we decided to look at what it would take to have a community. If we had a community, what kind of qualities would be present there? We talk about these qualities as aspects of the divine, ways that the divine shows up uniquely. And so things like love is a quality of the divine. Beauty is a quality of the divine. Peace is a quality of the divine. And so we had our Vision Corps, which is a group of people that come together to commune with Spirit and seek what is wanting to unfold for whatever project that we're working on. I had the Vision Corps come together, and we visioned for our themes for 2023. So in January, we looked at freedom. Freedom is a necessary quality in building a community. Last month, we looked at creativity. And this month, our focus is on joy. And joy is one of those qualities that it often has many different synonyms and different aspects to it. There are things like you could think of joy as pleasure. You could think of joy as happiness, amusement, contentment, excitement, relief, wonder. There is the joy of celebrating somebody else's accomplishments. And then there's the joy that you get, it's often called Schadenfreude, which is a German term that means celebrating someone's unluckiness, someone's demise. And some people get joy from that too, when they celebrate somebody else's problems. So there are different ways of doing that. Gratitude can be a celebration of joy. And then there's the joy that comes from spiritual connection. When you are deeply connected with Spirit and those moments of bliss. One happened to me earlier this morning as I was praying in our service, and I was just overcome. And as I was starting to pray, I said, I'm tingling all over because there was so much joy in us coming together, back together again in person. And so I'm a scholar. I like to read. I read avidly. A couple years ago, I read a book written by Douglas Abrams, based on a week-long visit he had with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. The two men had come together to celebrate the Dalai Lama's 80th birthday. And so they spent a week together in India. They tried to do it in South Africa, but South Africa wouldn't let the Dalai Lama have a visa to come in because they do too much trading with China. So it was a bit of a turmoil there, but they managed to get together in India to celebrate their relationship and the experience of joy that they have in each other's presence. You know, if you've ever seen the Dalai Lama speaking, you look at the man, and that man is joy. It's just written all over him. He is just like this squishy little schoolboy who is having so much fun he can't believe it. And it's such a contagious feeling of being around the Dalai Lama. So Desmond Tutu is rather a character. He likes to tease the Dalai Lama. And so throughout this whole time that they are together, they're cracking jokes like crazy. The Dalai Lama is being his genuine, open, schoolboy enthusiasm, and Desmond Tutu is making fun of him. And so throughout the entire book, it's interspersed in there. But the book is called The Book of Joy, because that's what happened when these two men came together. They experienced a week-long period of joy with in each other's presence. Desmond Tutu happened to be suffering from pancreatic cancer and died not too long after this experience. But can you imagine spending one of your last weeks on earth in the presence of the Dalai Lama talking about joy? I can't imagine anything better. I'd love to go out of my life the same way. So in the book, they talk about what are the obstacles to joy. And so some of the things that get in our way are the things that we create within our own selves. That's generally what stops us. So things like fear, stress, anxiety, those things can inhibit our experience of joy. Frustration and anger, usually directed towards somebody else, that inhibits our experience of joy. And we have sadness and grief that can inhibit how we feel grief in different situations. And then it goes even a little bit deeper, where we feel despair and that profound loneliness. These kind of things can help us, can hinder us from experiencing the fullness of joy. We believe that joy is actually a quality of the divine, and it is something that is much more deeper than any kind of happiness could possibly be. We can experience joy in the midst of tragic situations, in the midst of the most painful things we have ever experienced in our lives. We can still experience that supreme joy. Think of it this way. Many of you can relate to this. Think of a mother having a child. Now, there's not much more pain in the world than goes on when a mother gives birth. I haven't done that. I've witnessed it. I've heard lots of secondhand accounts of it. That is some of the most profound pain. But the instant that baby comes into this world and you hear that first cry, there is no other joy like it. No other joy in the world exists like that of a mother hearing her newborn's first cry. Pain can be there, but in the midst of that pain, in the midst of that sorrow, there can be the most profound joy. I recently was in Tennessee with my father as he was passing. And he spent 7 days. It was 7 days after they took him off of life support before he made his transition, which is what we call moving on to the next incarnation. And I made a playlist of my father's favorite music. So I'm in Tennessee, right? So my father loved the Grand Ole Opry, and so I had 8 hours of Grand Ole Opry music and country gospel. And I would listen to it over and over and over again, just keeping it on play. Nurses would come in and out, and they're like, "Oh, I love the music. It is so wonderful." I happen to like oils, essential oils, and so the place was filled with the smells of the most exquisite essential oils and blends of oils that I could come up with. The nurses would come in. I got to come in here for a minute and just smell this place because it smells so good. Now, you can imagine a hospital room where someone is dying doesn't usually smell good. This was really good. It was a very profound, very peaceful time for me, and I was filled with so much joy. My father lived a wonderful, expressive life, and I know that he has returned to the arms of my mother, and so there is nothing but joy to celebrate in this. Profound sadness, profound grief, and yet in the midst of it, this most amazing joy that could ever be experienced in life. This is how joy shows up in the divine. We have these things that stop us, but there's so much more that can bring that expression of joy through us if we just take time to be conscious in the moment and not spend all of our energy dwelling on the negative aspects of it, but look for the positive in there. I mean, I could have sat there and with my father and been crying the entire time, but I wasn't. I created an experience. I created an experience for him, for the rest of my family, and certainly for the nurses and the aides that came into the room. It was an experience of profound and deep joy. So in the book, the Book of Joy, Desmond Tutu and His Holiness the Dalai Lama say that there are 8 pillars of joy. There are 8 things that are required for joy. And I want to spend some time this month going through those 8 pillars because I think they're very profound within themselves. And so the 8 pillars, they divided them into 4 qualities of the mind, 4 things that are more mental actions. And then there are 4 qualities of the heart. And so the 4 qualities of the mind are perspective, humility, humor, and acceptance. Those 4 qualities of the 4 pillars of joy that are qualities of the mind. The 4 qualities of the heart are forgiveness, gratitude, compassion, and generosity. Can you feel the difference just listening to those words? The ones are more of a mental action, a thing about our thinking processes, and the other are more about actions that we do that come from our heart. And so today I want to take a look at the first 2 pillars of joy, perspective and humility. So perspective has to do with the way we look at things. You know, our founder, Ernest Holmes, has a very famous quote. It's actually pretty much synonymous with the science of mind movement. And his quote is, "Change your thinking, change your life." Dr. Wayne Dyer, in one of his books, wrote, "Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change." This is all about changing our perspective, how we view something. When we are in the midst of some kind of a turmoil, tragic or problematic situation in our lives, it's really hard sometimes to step out of it and look at it from a different perspective. The Archbishop Desmond Tutu says that we need to look at it from a God's eye perspective. Now, if you can imagine, if you believed in the God that's set up in heaven, then God looking down on this perspective has this wide view of everything that's going on around it. He's not in the situation looking out at it, but looking down on it this way. And so this God's eye perspective allows us to see things that we might not actually even recognize when it's happening in the moment because we're so caught up in the situation that's going on there. Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, wrote that our perspective towards life is our final and ultimate freedom. How we choose to look at the events that we experience in our lives determine how free we are from those experiences, or conversely, how much bondage we feel in the situation. By how we look at it, our perspective of it. Now, perspective is not a denial of pain or suffering, but it's a shift on it. It's shifting it from what's happening to me to maybe what's happening for me. I'm in this situation, this traumatic situation, and I could think of it like a victim and say, oh, this is being done to me. But if I shift my perspective and I say, what's in it for me? What is here for me to learn? What is here for me to know? What is here for me to experience and grow from? That changes the outlook and the way that I experience whatever that situation is. You know, we need to find a wider and larger perspective on every situation in our lives. We step back out of it within our own mind. We step back out of it and look for the bigger picture here. Like, what's really happening? I can continue to be caught up in the events, or I can take that moment, that pause, and step back and see what's going on. This is about moving away from our own limited self-awareness or our own limited self-interest and looking at it from a brighter angle. You can imagine it this way. If we had this situation here, we can begin to look at it from 6 different directions. We can look at it like a square from each side and see what kind of perspective we can get. If I step out of it and look at it this way, what is it going to happen? I like some of the Native American traditions, spiritual traditions that are out there. And one of them has to do with the directions. And so for me, this idea of perspective is, I look at it from the east. And in Native American traditions, east is the sunrise. So how did this problem begin? So I look at it from that perspective. How did it begin? The south is the time of growth. So what caused this situation to get so problematic for me? The west is the time of harvest, the time of looking at it. What am I to learn from this situation? And the time of the north is that time that we rest in it. And we allow it to be what it is, that form of acceptance. We can look at it from below and see what is actually here. What is the foundation of this problem? And we can turn it around and look at it from the God's eye perspective and look down on the situation and see all of the components of it. But changing how we look at it by moving into a different point of view, we can have a different experience of that situation. So the second step of the pillar of joy is humility. Humility comes from perspective. Because humility is about realizing that it's not just me here. Humility is that idea of there's something bigger working here in me. There's something bigger in this situation than what I can see from my limited perspective. But if I'm still stuck in that thing, I can't get to a place where I can even see it. So when we have a wider perspective, we have a more natural understanding of our place in the world. And this humility, this naturally leads to the recognition that as human beings, we can't always solve things from the place of human beings. Sometimes we have to step out of it. Sometimes we have to seek guidance from something else. I follow the writings of Joel Goldsmith. He's a phenomenal mystic, contemporary of Ernest Holmes, our founder. And in one of his books, The Heart of Mysticism, he says this. He says, this is his prayer. When he's stuck in any kind of situation, this is his prayer to God. He says, search my mind, search my body, search my consciousness. And if you find anything there that doesn't belong, take care of it. I don't even need to know what it is. Sometimes we have to step out of it because we can't solve it. We're too enmeshed in the situation to solve it. And so we have to be humble enough, have enough humility to turn it over to a power that is outside of the situation. It's not outside of us, but it's outside of this situation. It is not enmeshed in the situation. And so we allow this power, this presence, to begin to help aid us in solving the problem. You know, we are not created for independence, but we are created for interdependence. We are not here to be self-sufficient. We are here to support each other mutually. And sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we're just too stuck in the situation to find an answer to it. I have a group of friends that when I'm in a problem, I don't even have to tell them what it is. I just text them. We have a group text. And I just text them and I say, no truth. That's it. Just no truth. I'm not getting into the situation. I'm not telling them about it. I don't want them to get caught up in the problem. I want them to know that God is active in my life right now. Because right now I'm kind of stuck in the thing and I'm not seeing it for myself. And so I just simply approach it that way. Just no truth for me. And they respond, I'm on it. And I know that something's happened. A friend and colleague of mine, Reverend Colleen Tanaka, says it this way: if I take one step towards God, God takes 1,000 steps towards me. Sometimes I just have to ask for the help. Sometimes I just have to be humble enough to say, I can't fix this. You know, in the Bible, it would be written like, I of my own self can do nothing. It is the Father within that doeth the works. Sometimes we have to be humble enough to do that. In the book, they talk about this in a really cool analogy that I loved. You know, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is from Tibet. Himalayas, highest mountains in the world. And he asked this question of his students. He says, when spring comes, where does the growth begin? The growth begins in the low places. The growth does not begin high on the mountaintop. The growth begins where we are. And so when we're stuck in a situation and we have the opportunity to change our perspective and to reach out in humility for assistance, that's where our growth happens. We're in the low place, and that's where growth is going to happen first. If we waited till we were up in the high spot, we wouldn't probably notice the growth up there. But it's those steps along the way as it moves up the mountaintop, as spring blooms in the valleys and then rises higher and higher in the mountains. So do we. We bloom where we're at. We grow from our challenges. And when we take our challenges and look at them from a different way and be a little humble about it, then we can begin to experience things in our lives differently. So here at Serenus for Spiritual Living, we like to talk about two different things. We talk about our principles and we talk about our practices. Now, I've just spent the last few minutes talking about principle. But principle is no good unless we put it into practice. One of my favorite authors is Michael Beckwith. And he writes, rudimentary spirituality is theory. Advanced spirituality is practice. That which you practice transforms your life. So I'm going to give us an opportunity now to practice this a little bit. Practice this idea of changing our perspective, of self-distancing. You know, meditation practices that we engage in shift our perspective from our reactive, emotional brain, the brain that's caught up in the situation, to our more reflective, our more humble place in our consciousness. We can't do it as long as our busy, chattering mind is going like crazy. We have to step back. We have to give it a little space. We have to change our perspective and ask for help. So, if you would, take a moment and just get yourself comfortable in your chair. If it's okay for you, close your eyes. Nobody's going to come around and touch you or anything. You're all going to be safe. Just close your eyes and relax for a moment. And I want you to bring to mind some kind of a challenge or situation or problem that might be happening in your life right now. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a simple thing. Just begin to bring something to mind that is on your mind right now, worrying you right now. Okay, now in your mind, I want you to describe this problem as if you were talking to someone else, about someone else. Don't use words like I, mine, or me. Use your name as if you were talking to someone else about this person that you are. And describe this situation in your mind. Now let's begin to shift the perspective. Think about this problem as it would be in your life 1 week from now. Now, how is it going to be in your life 1 month from now? How are you going to be experiencing this problem 1 year from now? Do you think this issue will still have an impact on you? Do you think you'll even remember it? And now imagine that you're looking at this problem from a universal presence perspective of the God's eye. Looking down on this person that you are who is involved in the situation. What do you see around you? What do you see happening? See all of your fears, all of your frustrations, all of your worry from that distance. Notice the other people that are involved in this situation, if there are any. And remember that just like you, they are worthy of love and respect. And then ask yourself, what will serve me and the world in this moment from this situation? If you would, just take in a nice cleansing breath. Let it in and out. This is a simple thing that you can do at any moment. When you're caught up in a situation, take that pause. Just close your eyes and pull yourself out of the situation and look at it from that higher perspective. And see what is there for you. Now, you may have to do this many times when you're encountering a situation. Depends on what it is. There are times when it's like, every 5 minutes I'm doing this. But if you stop and pause, it's going to help you experience it a little differently. Stop and reflect on what's happening here for you. Not so much what's happening to you, but what is here for me to learn, what is here for me to grow from, what is here for me to share with others. Each one of us is here to bring a unique and special perspective to every problem that we encounter in the world. So I'd like to finish off with a wonderful quote from our founder, Ernest Holmes, that I think of as our principle for the month. I usually start my talks with this, but it felt like it needed to be at the finish today. This is from his book, Ideas of Power. There is a laughter of God. Let's laugh it. There is a song of the universe. Let's sing it. There is a hymn of praise. Let us praise it. There is a joy, a beauty. There is a deep, abiding peace. Let's experience it now. All right, so we're going to go into one of our other spiritual practices, which is a prayer. We pray a little bit differently here at Centers for Spiritual Living. We pray what we call affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. And so I'm going to invite the practitioners to stand up and surround the sanctuary. We haven't been able to do this for a long time, and so we're kind of excited about that. So these are our licensed spiritual practitioners, people who, as I said, spend a minimum of 4 years in study, learning these principles, integrating these practices into their lives, and allowing that truth to live from them. And so as I pray, they're going to hold you in consciousness. So if you would with me, turn within. Just taking a nice deep breath. Our prayer is in 5 stages. In the first stage, I will recognize the presence of the divine. In the second one, I will unify myself with it. Because if God is all this, then I am too. And I will unify you with it as well. In the third stage, we call recognition. This is where I speak spiritual truth. And after I've identified spirit, unified with it, spoken truth, the only thing left to do is to give thanks and then let it go. And so those are our 5 steps. So if you would with me, turn within. And so right here and right now, I know that there is only one. One power, one presence, one divine creative source of all. That one is in, through, and as everything. It is the very life that is breathing itself through each one of us. It is who we are here and now. Nothing exists outside of the one. It is that love, that peace, that joy, and that beauty that is life expressing itself over and over again. And because I know that there is only this one, I know that I am one with it. I know that that creative love intelligence has brought itself forth and manifested itself as me in all that I am and all that I do. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one of us. That each one of us is that unique and perfect representation of the divine right here, right now, on this earth, in this plane, in this time. I know that each one of us is that manifestation of love and beauty and peace and joy. It is the truth of who we are. And so knowing this truth, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, each and every one of us is a conduit for the flow of divine joy to manifest itself in the world. I know that each one of us is that place in consciousness where spirit shows up beautifully and perfectly and easily, just the way that it's supposed to. I know that each one of us is a life that is unfolding, and it is unfolding through this presence of joy, this perfection and this wholeness. And how grateful I am to know this. How grateful I am to feel this power, to feel this presence, to see it operating in the lives before me. And I simply release this word into that creative mind that always says yes, that knows no lack or limitation. And I let it go, and I let it be. And if you would, affirm this with me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, practitioners. And so here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we are a vision and mission-driven center. On the flyer that you were given, we listed our vision and our mission statements there. We are all about creating a world that works for everyone. And we do this through our practices, we do this through our study, we do this through our service into the world. And we do this by giving and receiving that service from others. As we receive from others, we give it back in generosity. As we give to others, they receive our generosity in return. And so we engage in the spiritual practice of tithing, which is a spiritual act of giving and receiving, knowing that whatever we give comes back to us multiplied, blessed, overflowing abundantly. And so if you would, get your offerings ready. We have some envelopes if you need one. I know many of you like to give electronically, so on the back of your flyer are some of the ways that we can give. I personally have a weekly donation set up on our website, which is very easy to do. The information's on the back of your flyer. We also have a text-to-give number for those of you that like to do it through your phone. Another way you can do it through your phone is a new way we just set up, which is Zelle. Many of you might use Zelle in your life, and you can simply Zelle it to the email address that's included on your flyer there. But we are so grateful to receive all of your gifts of generosity. And so I'm going to turn it over to our music ministry here so that we can have a little instrumental fun and singing, vocal fun while we're doing this. Okay.
Well, it's a good day for singing a song, and it's a good day for moving along. Yes, it's a good day. How can anything be wrong? A good day from morning till night. Yes, it's a good day for shining your shoes, and it's a good day for losing the blues. Everything to gain and nothing to lose. A good day from morning till night. I said to the sun, good morning, sun. Rise and shine today. You know you gotta get going, and you've got the right of way. 'Cause it's a good day for paying your bills, and it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away the pills. A good day from morning till night. I said to the sun, good morning, sun. Rise and shine today. You know you gotta get going, and you've got the right of way. 'Cause it's a good day for paying your bills, and it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away the pills. A good day from morning till night.
Did you all know that was written by Peggy Lee? Yeah. Peggy Lee was one of our members of our movement back in her time. She accredits Ernest Holmes, our founder, as being one of the greatest spiritual teachers of her life. Many of her songs are written with our New Thought principles in mind, and so you can tell it's a good day. That definitely speaks to science of mind, so thank you for that, for sharing that with us. All right, we just have a couple of announcements for you today. Our Women's Circle is meeting today. Judy Petit, our practitioner of the day, has a card with the address for the place, for the location that they're meeting. They're going to be at the congregation near to mid to do a singing bowl presentation at 1 o'clock, and then they are moving over to Lori Guzman, our organizer for the women's group, moving over to her house at 2:30 to continue on the discussion. So if you're interested in participating in this women's group, see Judy. She's got the information here for you to give you that. And then our Tuesday Supper Club. Those of you that might not have experienced our Tuesday Supper Club yet, it is phenomenal. We have a wonderful time. The first Tuesday of the month, we go to someplace different. It's a very nice place that I get to experience lots of different restaurants in town, which I always love. You go in there, you order your own food, you pay for your own food. Everything works out well there. It's not like we have a set menu or anything like that. So they just set off an area in the restaurant for us to do this. So this week, we are meeting at Mountain West Eatery, which is on Blue Diamond Road, and it's being hosted by Merlon Hart and Christine Page. So if you're interested, all of the information is on our website. Our website is listed on the flyer that you were given when you came in today. So hope to see you at one of these wonderful events. We have our small group ministries, we call them Sacred Circles, which is about ways that we can come together in smaller groups to keep the momentum going throughout our week and throughout our month. So take an opportunity to do that. We have several book studies that are going on right now, and then these two wonderful opportunities. We also have a Thursday night group called Adventures in Faith that meets online, which explores the spiritual principles that we are talking about. So if you're interested in a little deeper conversation about that, you might consider joining the Adventures in Faith group on Thursday nights, hosted by practitioner Lynn Frankenberger. So those are the announcements that we have for today. It has been wonderful to be here. We are so excited to be in this place. I was asked earlier, we will be in here until we open up our new space, and our new space will probably open sometime this fall. We're on East Russell Road, as I said before, about 2 miles east of the airport. We have a beautiful, brand new building that we've purchased, but it has to be completed inside. And so we're still in the process of obtaining building permits. We have our special use permit, so we're that much closer to getting there, but we are anticipating sometime this fall opening up our center. But we are so grateful to the Las Vegas Meadows community here for opening up their doors to us and making this such a synchronistic partnership. We have in the back some fellowship. We'd love for you to stay and join and have some cookies and donuts and coffee and tea and hot chocolate, I believe we have today too. So please join us for some fellowship, and please consider coming back again next week. We're going to close today with a traditional way that we love to do this. And so I'm going to ask you to stand if you're capable of doing that. It'd be wonderful. And then I want you to repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this joy.
It is this joy.
Joy is in my heart.
Joy is in my heart.
Joy is in my mind.
Joy is in my mind.
Joy is in all that I do.
Joy is in all that I do.
I am it.
I am it.
I am becoming it.
I am becoming it.
And I am sharing it wherever I go.
And I'm sharing it wherever I go.
Thank you, joy.
Thank you, joy.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a blessed week, everyone. Sorry, I forgot. If you would like personal prayer, please come up to the front. We have our practitioners available to give you a one-on-one prayer. Thank you so much. Okay, now you can do the music, Joe.
And I'm turning into the Spirit. I'm growing in the Spirit. And it's showing the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. Well, I'm walking with the Spirit. I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit. And I'm turning into the Spirit. I'm growing in the Spirit. And it's showing the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. When I find myself in one of those situations that's leading to some kind of drama or confrontation, I go within and get plugged into my friend before it's too late. I put the Spirit in front of me to make those crooked places straight. I'm walking with the Spirit, and I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit, and I'm turning to the Spirit. I'm growing with the Spirit, and it's so the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. When I find myself in one of those situations when I don't